this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, Stacey Jones, Cara Murray, and Abby Jakob join us to talk about Count Her In, an event in June here at Pelee Island Winery about getting girls engaged in sports. We talk about sports in the local community, among many other things, so stay tuned for this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. That Kingsville Podcast proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. Again, everyone, summer's here, cerveza. Oh, it's delicious. They got it back in stock.
Second favorite way to eat corn.
First favorite being?
Leah Maria Sweet.
Oh, I mean,
shameless plug.
Shameless.
You're not sorry.
Remember, Kingsville Brewery offers. They are delicious. Again, nice little squeeze of lime and sunshine, whatever. They do offer free delivery in Windsor, Essex County. Check out kingsvillebrewery.com for all of their selection. And again, thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast. Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Hunt, Kevin Black, Steve. It's a full house today. I'm just going to go through the names and everybody and whatnot. Kevin Black, Steve Hansen, Stacey Jones, Cara Murray, and Abby Jakob join us today. Special guests. Thanks for coming in for the show tonight, ladies.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so, lots happening. It's summertime. Everybody's kind of getting out and about, and you guys are holding an event in Kingsville in June. It's probably one of the first major events that are happening. So it's Count Her In, right? So, Cara, what's Count Her In?
I was going to get Stacey to do it since she's our title sponsor.
Oh, we'll get back to her. Don't worry.
Count Her In. It was started. Really, our not-for-profit status was achieved this year, but it kind of was inspired last year when we had a women's networking event. And to give you the backstory behind why Count Her In began, is because my kids, I have 7-year-old triplets. And so at the time, they weren't quite involved in recreational sports. And, we all have our mom friends who have kids that are older than us or older than our kids. And I have a particular friend, Allie, and she's got 2 kids, Avery and Jackson Dunn. Am I allowed to say their last name?
Yeah. Okay.
As long as they're fine with it.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Gary, if we get a cease and desist, just edit that out, okay?
Duns are mine.
Yeah. What? Carol, what did you say on that stupid podcast?
Anyway, so Avery was
Kids
9
are
years old at the time.
wanted in 3
Yeah.
provinces. It's a real disaster.
Avery was 9 years old at the time. I think my kids were around 4 or 5, but her younger brother, Jackson, and her are both avid baseball players. And as they got older, they wanted to be challenged with more opportunity. We all kids want to try out for travel sports if they get to that level. And there was nothing available for Avery. And she watched her younger brother, Jackson, get to experience travel. And he got the travel experience which comes with all the swag, all the tournaments, your own baseball cards, and the big crowds that come. And not to mention like the top tier training that you get to excel in your sport. And she just said she was talking to her mom, and her mom shared this story with me, and it moved me. And she said, it's not fair. Why is there nothing available for me? Like, I want to do that. And so that lit a fire for me. I'm like, that isn't fair. Why isn't there anything available for her? And then a little while later, McKenna, my own daughter, she says to me while we're watching the Blue Jays one night, and she just says, Mom, why don't the Blue Jays have any girls on their team? And the Maple Leafs don't either. Like, she just was paying attention to all these things. And I just felt kind of tongue-tied. I didn't really know at the time what a good answer was. She lives with 2 brothers, and she doesn't know inequality, right? And so rather than being upset about, the lack of opportunity or some gaps that exist out there, I decided, you know what, let's just do something about it. So we hosted this Count Her In event last year. Started as a women's networking event. We thought we learned about the Kingsville fast pitch that was going through some transition. They were going from slow pitch to fast pitch, and to do that, you needed all new equipment. And to make that possible, because they were just going to get some hand-me-downs, we decided to call to action for all the ladies that came to that event that night, and said, we need to raise some money, and everyone responded. And so we gave all the money to the Kingsville Minor Baseball Association, and they were able to get some new equipment for those girls as they embarked on a new journey.
Is at her fast pitch practice right now.
Oh, you're missing practice days.
There you go.
I am.
Oh, Dave will take care of it.
They won't miss me.
Oh, no. We'll get to your sports history in a bit, but So last year you had some success with the original event. So that probably started fostering ideas about how to involve others and expand others. And
Yeah, I just had a lot of people reach out to me, men and women, about things that they've noticed in the community and like, oh, I'd love to get involved with this if you're going to make it bigger. And the need just became so much more prevalent.
Yeah.
So
Abby coming on board as well, and Stacey.
Yeah.
So, Abby, why do you want to get involved with Counter In?
I was at the event last year and I was so moved to tears, as I often am when Kara speaks about this, because I was somebody who grew up playing sports and I actually didn't realize that there was inequality because I always was involved and my parents put me in everything and I didn't have any feeling of like, I can't do this, or like, why can't I do this? And when she told me this story, can I tell that story about Ian?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which one? Okay. I'm sure there's a couple of stories about Ian we have to keep off the air. That story, no. This story, yes.
So she told the story at last year's event that Ian signed up to be a coach for the kids' soccer, and the kids were 5 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So these little kids are getting rostered, or
it's like the
chosen,
draft night.
like a draft
Selection.
night,
Yeah,
yeah.
team selection.
And that there's all kinds of parents, men and women, that are saying like, no, okay, I have enough girls on my team. I got my 2 required girls. I don't want any more. And Ian was like, what? And you're thinking like, these are 5-year-old kids and girls are amazing.
Yeah.
And Ian says, I'll take all the girls. And I like started crying at that. Like,
Ian.
what a good guy.
Ian, points. Just collecting those points, Ian.
Yeah, so
Good job.
so that really touched my heart, and I felt like I want to be involved and help other girls get opportunities and show that they can become amazing people and have amazing things by playing in sports.
And I think one of the things that you had said to me in our conversation, because I was kind of when our relationship started, that, and more recently you shared that your dad, I'm like, well, how did you get involved? Like, where did you have to go? Because she had shared she had to like travel across the country sometimes to participate in these tournaments or tryouts or whatever.
And I always felt like I just got to.
Yeah.
I was lucky. But I didn't realize that my parents just did that all for me and like signed
and your dad
me up.
like sent a video of you.
What did you play?
Basketball was my favorite sport.
Yeah.
I also loved soccer though.
Yeah.
So I played travel soccer for a while and travel basketball longer.
Did you play with Bob Lynch?
I did. I
Yeah.
started out with Kingsville class.
We had Bob Lynch on the last episode.
Oh,
It's the
yeah, I
lasting
saw
legacy
that.
in town. So,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
good.
that's cool.
Stacey. Like, yeah, hey, hi. So you came on board as the sponsor of the event, like the lead sponsor, but you've also got a history of sports and whatnot. You were a skater.
I was, yeah. I primarily was a synchro team, like precision skating team. And kind of to Abby's point, it kind of went both ways for me because my parents always took me around and I had really supportive parents that allowed me to do all the things and experience all the sports. But to that same end, we had the worst ice times. I think I was telling you guys this, the worst ice times. We were up in Windsor. We were 5 a.m. because everything was given to hockey players, which at that time was primarily boys.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, you do see the discrepancies and your event last year was awesome. I was there too. And like, I knew it was going to be successful. And I think it's just about advocacy. So you have to use your voice.
Yeah. There is a definite change of direction, right? We see it in professional sports, the WNBA and women's professional basketball, women's professional hockey, but it has to start somewhere, and it has to start in the local community level.
Well, and it's good timing because they've announced the WNBA franchise for Toronto today, officially.
That's
Amazing.
Did not
Yeah.
know that.
So, which will begin play May 2025, which is huge, obviously.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But at a grassroots level, because you mentioned now that you're a registered nonprofit.
Yeah.
So when you become registered, you kind of go outside of just hosting an event. Now you're
There's a
doing
different level of
something,
motivation.
right?
Yeah.
You're doing something now. Like, it's not just like a one-off and walking away.
Mm-hmm.
So what does success for this group look like a couple of years, 5 years from now? Like, what are you hoping that hosting events like what's happening in June, but going forward, what do you hope to be able to achieve?
I'm so glad you asked. We actually had in March, we all got together. I'm a goal setting kind of person. And I just said, do you want to come and do a vision meeting with me? And so we sat down with our crew and we looked at, what do we want to do in the first year? What do we want to do in the next 3 years? And what do we want to do, like a crazy goal in the next 10 years? So in the first year, just to kind of break it down, our goal, which I think we'll be able to do more than that because of the incredible support that we've received in fundraising so far just for this event. But we want to start with, one of the gaps after talking to all of the 4 main associations. So whether it's soccer, baseball, basketball, or hockey, there's not a lot of resources for coaches. There's not a lot of training for coaches. They just kind of like volunteer, get set up and say, okay, here's your team. And
like house league, and then that's it.
Yeah. And we want to change what that looks like, because the first step to getting the experience as an athlete and the benefits of what sports do for you is, who is your leader? And so if we can set them up with the right tools and fund some coaches clinics, we want to do that for the 4 main sports. And we also want to run some talent clinics. So that was one of the major things from talking to other parents and other association members is there's nothing available for girls. I mean, sure, you can go and do co-ed things, but a lot of like the talent clinics are geared towards kids going forward in travel. And so girls have to travel a great distance to experience something like that. And they also have to, like, I have 2 boys, so I'm not trying to sound like boys don't get any space at all. I don't want that to be our reality, but I want the girls to experience what it's like to play with other girls. Mm-hmm. There's a whole different ballgame when you go toe to toe with someone who's biologically different than you. Like if we go, you and I, and we go for a sprint down the street and see who wins.
No, you would 100%. Look at me. That adds 10 pounds. I'm not an athlete. Okay, never once.
One person will still be
so let's
upright.
talk about football then. But anyway, it's just different, right?
Yeah.
You'd rather your girls to have an opportunity to play with other girls, because that's where the magic happens for developing confidence and leadership skills and collaboration, all the benefits that you want to get from sports. We're not all going to be top tiered athletes. We're not it's not always about being the best in your league or the best player. It's about the benefits that you get because of being a part of sports. And so, creating that opportunity for them to expand their talent. So running some talent clinics, which we just ran our first one.
Olivia was a beneficiary of that too.
Yeah. And the St. Clair College Saints and their entire girls softball team actually helped to facilitate it. And so there was that element of mentorship there. And it was really cool to see. I went to go meet everybody and take some pictures and videos for the foundation. And just the energy there was just buzzing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I messaged Abby after. I'm like, this is what it's all about. This is why we're doing this. And
well, it brought it to the next level. They felt important and advocated for.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
And they were learning,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Actual skills that they can use and apply.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's not just someone barking at them because, oh, you're the girl on the team. I got to check a box. I got 2 girls. All right. Just go, pick daisies in right field. Right. Because that was the way it was for a long time, especially, before there was any kind of understanding that, they can have this too. You can build skill too.
Mm-hmm.
So the, on the professional level, those role models, right? We're starting to see professional women athletes now creating a spotlight, like Caitlin Clark in NCAA basketball, right? These are things that male role models have existed since professional sports. So we got, you name Michael Jordan, all of them. Right now, women and girls have this ability to kind of look up to someone and say, "Yeah, I can do that." Right, and to Kevin's point about there being a local basketball, a basketball franchise for women in Canada.
Yeah.
Right. These are things that will help foster interest, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have 2 daughters, and my daughters were basically done with sports by 10, 12 because I was a coach, right? So I'm dad, but they didn't have any ability to see, hey, I can do things, I can be better. So, facilitating workshops and having skill development and just general, goal setting towards, hey, these are things that you can do and you can achieve. So it's great.
It's about the opportunity, right? They, so 62% of girls, by the time they reach adolescence, don't participate in sport at all.
Wow.
By adolescence, think about the skills that you learn as a teenager that lead you into adulthood
Ooh,
that you can get by
ones.
just,
Good ones, yeah.
But if you're involved in sports, right, what is that fostering? And again, leading you into adulthood, all those essential skills that you need to progress and have that confidence and to start your own life.
And collaborating amongst a team.
Mm-hmm.
I guess looking at it from a different angle is how do we change the mindset of others? So the story about Ian, I think, is fantastic. And I go back to when you played. And I think part of the reason you saw it how you did is because there were coaches who... So let me put it this way. Sun County Soccer has a really archaic rule in that, at the risk of being politically incorrect, states you have to have one boy and one girl on the field at all times. To this day, and having officiated for the last few years, there are still teams who have what's referred to as the token girl. And they usually put her at right back or left back or in a position where they feel that she doesn't have to do a lot. With your team, when you played, and granted, I remember it was a strong group of female players, but I wouldn't let a token girl be out there. I remember my rule was like, okay, co-ed league, there's 6 of you, 3 of you on the field, minimum at all times. And I do remember one game where we went to Bell River and I put all of you out together. There were more girls on the field for that team than boys. So what I'm trying to get at is how do we change the mentality of the coaches, not just male coaches, but the female coaches too, from just simply wanting to win and feeling that winning is about having the boys on the field to simply saying we need to develop the athlete, but we also need to develop the mentality to say, hey, you are all equal. It doesn't matter your gender or anything else. Get out there and play.
Exactly. And before you even brought that up, I was even going to say, I want to thank you as I'm remembering my memories on your team that you would play all of us.
Not about me.
No, but I remember that. And I felt like I didn't even appreciate that you didn't treat us like girls. You treated us the way that we earned our spot on the team. Like you were developing us just like you developed the boys on the team. And I feel like that is something that hearing about even the moms that were being coaches that were not saying, I want girls on my team. Like they must not have daughters.
So I think that speaks to also the importance of like coaches clinics. Like, were you provided that when?
Yeah. How did you?
No.
I didn't have kids at the time. I have a son and I have a daughter. And so I, kind of get the benefits of both worlds. But no, it was just, it was a time, it was a little bit different. They needed coaches. They needed people who kind of had some knowledge of the game, so to speak. But I never went in thinking, okay, I need 10 strong boys and I'm going to put the girl here.
So how do you develop that in other coaches?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking is how do you sort of encourage that? Clinics are a good start, but I guess I don't want to say code of conduct necessarily, but some sort of constant reminders that, hey, okay, this is the goals. It's not about winning. Sure, winning is fun, but the more successful kids further down the road are the ones that will understand that, yes, we are a team. We're all part of one. And they're all developed and treated the same. So is there a way to do that? Is there a way to kind of say, hey?
So one of the things that, even just listening to that statistic, that 62% of them drop out. It's a headcount issue right now. We have less kids than we did back then, right? And Abby shared a statistic with me, like 32% of parents don't think it's important for their daughters to play sports. Or only 32% think it's important.
No,
That's what you said.
30%. Only 30% of parents
think that it's important.
for their daughters.
So there's 70% that don't think it's important for their daughters, but it's okay.
So what
for
are they
their-
doing?
Like it's important for their sons, right?
Yeah,
So
nothing.
it's
Nothing.
shifting that and like
Crafts, dance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so our big crazy goal that we want to achieve in 10 years is to impact 1 million lives. And that's either through awareness or direct impact, like having a talent clinic. But it's about spreading this word that girls need to be involved in sports too. And like the number of conversations I've had just, that comes naturally with other parents that they don't realize some of these discrepancies that are happening or that their own behavior might be contributing to that.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's like having a voice and like, thank goodness for the channels that we have available to us now to spread that word and have that voice and raise awareness. So that's like half of what we want to be a part of, right? Like the execution of clinics and coaches clinics and creating teams like that. Like there's no opportunity. I shouldn't say no, but there's limited opportunity for girls teams. And for me, that's where the gap is. Like I grew up in a city. And so there's more draw of a population. There's more girls to play the sport. And I didn't have to deal with the barriers of having a co-ed experience. I was just on teams with girls and it was awesome. And so coming to a small town, I was like, oh my God, why isn't there any girls leagues, period? But coming out of this, like I go soccer on Thursday night. There's so many girls there. Why are they not being funneled into their own league? Why can't we create this? Like it's packed there.
This was a transition. I think generationally, like I can speak from my own experience. Like my sister was never encouraged to go into sports, whereas I was facilitated all the time. I played baseball, I played soccer, and this is what we did. And between Jen and I, with our daughters, we introduced them to sports at a young age, right?
Yeah.
Here's soccer. It's the first.
It's the first you have to do. Yeah.
Right. So, give them the audience, give them the opportunity to discover a passion for it themselves. And right, we all froze on the soccer fields together and, we complained, but, maybe the kids actually would take interest. And, we took the approach, unlike my parents, where it was like, Dave, you're going to play baseball. Dave, you're going to do this. As opposed to, hey, you need to find the passion for it on your own. So
it goes back to the why.
Yeah, the why is I think as males, and there's the predisposition that that's what sports are. Sports are male driven things. And like I touched on earlier about this incredible push for professional women's sports and the visibility. Like golf was always a thing. Like professional women's golf is by far better than men's golf in certain cases.
See, I'll 100% agree with you with team sports for sure. But I do think that there's stereotypes around all sports that are very gender specific, like gymnastics, figure skating. Tennis is one that's probably both genders. Golf is more mainstream women now than it used to be.
Right.
But I definitely agree with you where team sports is just now possibly starting to catch up to that.
Yeah.
But I do just want to get back to that 10-year goal briefly because quick math, like Windsor Essex has 350,000 people.
We want it to be beyond that, right?
So,
and like
so
the reach is the 1 million.
It's called
is
the
like
internet.
Yeah. So if you could follow us at Count Her In YQG, we're on Instagram. We want to grow a following there because it's about spreading the word and expanding your reach, expanding your network, and just even like right now it is local. I would love for it to grow beyond that. And impacting just more and more girls and showing them a path that they're worth it too.
I read somewhere recently that I can't remember if it was online or on TV, it doesn't matter, but they were comparing the NCAA men's versus the NCAA women's game.
Oh,
and
it's a different game.
And this is what they said. And they said by far, whoever was talking about it was men referring to it, that the women's game was way more fun to watch. Oh. Technically, skill, everything. It was so much better than the men's game.
Yes, ESPN just preempted a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs for a regular season WNBA game.
Look at that.
Like this week.
Well, and they know their audience, right?
Yeah, because nobody likes hockey.
Well, no,
Nobody
it's just
likes
it's
hockey.
not big. It's not big over there. But if there's one event from your sporting careers that have really sort of impacted you or helped you become the successful ladies you are, could you pinpoint one? Or is it years of sports and just sort of?
For me, it was definitely being on the team I was on because we had so much opportunity to travel. We were great. Rose City Rhythms. Shout out to all the rhythms out there. Hey. But we had an amazing coach. Because I know they're all listening.
All the listeners. It's like our moms are the ones that are listening. Sorry, Mom. Love you, Mom.
But we had like such a great coach and we were really successful. So yes, winning is fun. But we actually traveled to Lake Placid and competed on the Olympic ice surface there. And we were up there for about a week and we won. And I still remember to this day, like it was yesterday, when we won the championship, we skated around, you do your like little Rocky thing and they played We Are the Champions, the Queen song. Like it's embedded in my brain. And that's what team sports is. And I still communicate with a lot of those girls. And I was so lucky to have that opportunity. So I think for me now as a mom and following what these guys are doing, I feel responsible to my kids now. Like I gotta pay that forward because it was, my parents did it for me. So it's the use your voice thing and do something about it. And like, yeah, it is impactful when you look back on those memories.
So the event specifically, so the counter in June 13th, Thursday, June 13th at Peely Island Winery.
Yeah, because you did ask them all.
I wanted you to talk about.
And I thought we had to answer.
Yeah,
Steve's question.
I want to hear them all.
That's fine. We can go through them all. It was pretty great what Stacey said.
No,
Fine.
it's hard to top.
I mean, how do you follow
Top it,
that?
right? Like,
That's hard to top. I will be totally honest. And I can't say that I have one specific event in my sport of choice was soccer and synchronized swimming.
Nice. Synchro sports.
Oh yeah. And getting the chance to play a level, like going into competitive was like huge. It's huge in your confidence. Like, wow, I'm good enough for this. And if you can establish solid confidence, you can feel like equipped. Like it's that inspiration and motivation to dig deep and level yourself up. And the ability to work with a team and communicate with your team. And it develops these solid leadership skills so that you can move forward and can have not that it determines successful adulthood to be a leader, because not everybody loves to be a leader. But it does instill those skills early on. And to your point about, growing up, you were encouraged to do sports. Mm-hmm. Like the groundwork has been there for males for
eons.
Since the dawn of sports, right? It's like you're expected to do that. And so there's no surprise that I'm going to throw another stat at you.
I like stats.
That 68% of global leaders are male. Yeah. And so their entire lives are told, try this, then try to do this, even like this next hard step. Yeah. And here's all these teams that you can be a part of and learn to collaborate with all these people and be on the showcase and get the crowds and get the recognition. And I think that instills naturally being a part of these things to develop those leadership skills and to feel the confidence to go into these leadership roles. So for me, if I were to go back and dig into those skills that I achieved by being a part of teams like that and my parents allowing me to push myself, that's what's meaningful to me. That's why I got into this. That's why I started Counter In. Sure. So.
That was a good answer.
Oh, yeah. Top it. Go on, Abby.
Best for last.
I can't think of any specific moment that I can pinpoint about it either, but I can just think of the family feeling of being a team member and like you're doing it not for yourself, you're doing it for your team. And I feel like that has been something that I've taken with me in my whole life, that like, it's not all about you. There's no I in team. And I feel like that's why it helped me become a leader too. And I feel like my confidence in myself from working with a team and depending on people has developed because of sports. And I think it's just, I can't thank my parents enough for putting me in sports.
So on a personal level, the three of you are professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs on your own, right? So, are those some of the skills that you learned through the sports and the teamwork that enabled you to have the confidence to go ahead and, you're an optometrist, like you get insurance and financial services and real estate, right? These aren't easy things. Like it's difficult. It takes understanding of personal strength, how to market yourself, how to brand yourself,
How to put yourself out there.
right, how to persevere. So, did some of the sports and all of that, kind of spill in and give you the confidence to
For
go forward?
sure. Even becoming a mom, that he always say to other new moms, we can do hard things. And I feel like being a mom is one of the hardest things. And being in sports has probably helped me so much just to be a mom, because I know I can do hard things. And I believe in myself. I believe in my body. I believe in my capabilities. And it's just crazy what I feel sports has given me.
Well, and to your point about it's not about you, right? And that's where the teamwork comes in. And as far as my job goes, it's never about me. It's never about making a sale or doing anything. It's about helping people. And if you don't show up for that practice, or you miss something, your team suffers. So showing up for other people is a big part of teamwork, and that goes back to sports, I think.
Yeah, I don't think
Good one.
You can say we're in real estate, insurance, and optometry, but I think what the common denominator, it doesn't matter what it is, what your product is. Can you work with a team?
Mm-hmm.
Can you lead people forward? Can you have the confidence to command a meeting? It's all of these things that you experience as an adult that is actually the groundwork's being laid as a child, right? We are who we are because of our childhood.
Yeah. Leader and having strong role models and leaders that are showing generations, young girls, right? Yeah, we are capable. We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at mom, look at aunt, look at friends and so on and so forth. And because we're all in Kingsville and we very visible around town, an event like this gives us a way to focus all of that and say, hey, we are here. We are a support group. We are this group of women that are trying to help facilitate and grow. So the event itself. You see how I came back around to that?
Really circled back.
This is good, because all I was looking for is the ability to back it up. You without just coming on and saying, hey, we're having this event and look who we are, kind of thing. No, this is, there's a foundation for all of you here that says, we're not just hosting this event because we want girls to do this.
Thank you.
We're doing this because, hey, we've been there. We know the benefits and we want that with others. So,
the event itself, let's talk about it a little bit, and then some anecdotal things around it. So tell us about June 13th. It's Thursday, June 13th at Peely Island Winery Pavilion, from 5 to 9. Did I get that right?
6 to 9.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
We're on our own. All right. So
Come at
what
5.
day-
Come at 5. We want to keep set up.
but after this airs, you're going to want to be there at 5 because it's going to be so busy.
lined up tickets going fast now on eventbrite.com.
Yeah.
So what's on the agenda for the actual event?
Do you want to take this one?
Oh, we practiced this today, actually.
Oh,
many
scripted?
takes.
We did an
unscripted
reel.
video.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
a lot of bloopers.
Yeah,
Okay.
lots of bloopers, which we'll try to avoid right now. But licensed to
Can
sear.
we get the bloopers?
Licensed to sear is going to be catering the event,
Great.
and Unstable Bar, very important. It's going to be there,
It's going to be mixing cocktails.
mixing up some fancy drinks. And we have Jason Backleg as a musician.
Mhm.
He's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Playing music.
Playing
Yeah.
music,
Yeah,
but I
it's
wanted
entertaining.
something entertaining.
Yeah.
I wanted to try to be fancy about it.
It's going to
And
take his
he's
guitar
a
and
father of
strum.
2 daughters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yeah.
he was an amazing athlete. So,
Yep.
So he's on
Lincoln
Instagram
Flyer.
if you want to
Yeah.
check him out.
Mhm.
Jason Backleg Music, right?
yes.
We have a
Who else
photo
are we missing?
booth.
There's a photo booth that's going to be there. So Lux Picks has given us the photo booth, which is fantastic. And just to create some memories, and they send the digital copy to
Tell
your
them
phone
about the
right away.
games.
And then we have some games planned. So there's going to be like a chipping game for all you golf lovers out there. You pay to play. We're trying to raise money here.
Of course.
And,
It's for a
Bring
thing.
your wallet.
yeah.
Bring your wallet.
Yeah.
And it's either going to be like a frisbee toss game, like a can jam, or a cornhole. So we're just ironing out the details, the logistics right now. What else?
There's some door prizes.
There's some phenomenal door prizes.
Let's get to that.
Mhm.
Carol, what do we have behind door number 1?
Well, thanks to a sponsor. They are actually out of Chatham, Kent. His name is Adam Watson, and he's with Fairway Wealth Management. And he made it possible to purchase a bucket list trip. So you and whoever you want to bring, you get to pick your sporting event of your choice through Ticketmaster, and you'll get a hotel gift card as well, so that you can go. You can go to whatever destination you want to
Go see
there's going to be a cap on that.
It's going to be a $2,500 value.
I was going to say it's European Championships this summer. if England make it.
Amazing.
Oh, that's great. So sorry,
so that's
a gift card through Ticketmaster, and then
so that's the main door prize that
that's great.
That was recruited for sponsorship, and we have some season tickets for the Leamington Flyers that were donated. And we've got a phenomenal gift basket from Rasco Jeep, and we've got some. It's a massage therapy session with Heidi Skinner, our local massage therapist.
Wow.
So yeah,
And the fellas can come. It's not just for the ladies. It's for the fellas. So we will see you there.
I'm bringing my daughters.
Good.
Amazing.
Right. Again, well, one's a little bit more, involved in some athletics, and the other one's not, but she's just as interested, right?
Is she involved in singing and eating?
She's involved in all of the
See?
above. Yes, that's
for
fine.
everybody. Something for everybody.
But
The 13th?
Food and music.
Right?
June
Can't go wrong.
13th, Thursday, June 13th.
It's a high school athletic awards banquet that night.
Oh, tell them to come after.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying.
We
to
should
everybody.
have it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just walk across.
Yeah.
Hey guys. Yeah, I offered it up to my daughters to say, hey, would this be something that you'd be interested in? And I said, absolutely. And I said, hey, it's a lot of, prominent, powerful women in town that are throwing this. It's a good way to immerse yourself in
Thanks,
good role
Dave.
modelship. So, whether or not they're going to be teenagers and be like, I just want free food and stuff their face, which I don't think they will, Mom. Your grandkids are good.
She doesn't listen.
I don't listen at all. Well, she does, actually. She's like, I'm your only... Anyway.
She plays it on
Debs.
She does.
just to
We like that.
help us with stats.
Thanks, Mom. But yeah, I offered it to the girls, and they said, yeah, absolutely. So I sent them the link to what the event was, and they
Thanks,
said, yeah,
girls.
that would be great.
Amazing.
So, Jen's unavailable, unfortunately, so I'll bring them because you let us in, and I'm glad that that's not been a limitation, right? Because it does take the male perspective in order to understand
100%.
that you shouldn't be putting barriers up for your kids, your daughters specifically, right? Just because that's the pretense, that's the predisposition that's existing.
You guys need to be a part of the solution. We
Right.
can't do this alone, and so it's everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
There's youth tickets available too.
Well, I'm excited for the kids to come so they can see that the women in their lives, the mentors and moms and aunts and eye doctors, are advocating for them, and to see that we believe in them and that they can go as far as they want. So I'm glad that so many of the young people are coming, because I think it's going to help continue to grow this and move things forward.
Like us in our social circle, we're very fortunate. We have teachers and business owners, farmers, accountants, doctors, up to like it's such a broad range of capabilities and success stories that we kind of take for granted because we've been friends, right? Like it's like, oh, it's just you, right? Kind of thing. But to a kid to see that, no, I can do that. I can build towards something. I can succeed. Like that's important to understand, because your point about, 63% of all global leaders are male.
68.
5%
So close.
between friends. But that's why, right? Every president of the United States has been male, right? We've had a female prime minister, but it was such short-lived. So there was never the ability to visually see a girl to become that. So, I think that there's, outside of the sports benefit, there's much more to glean from this, just by the fact that you're holding this and that you're engaging the fact that this is a necessity or something that is so important to a community. especially with a lot of the crap that's been going on around here lately.
Now,
This will be fun.
if someone's not able to make the event, is there another way that they could donate if they wanted to?
They can always buy tickets. We'll take donations at any point, in any denomination. You can, if you can't make it, like I've said to a lot of people who have soccer that night, come after. Just come for the last hour.
In your cleats, even.
Mhm.
Yeah, bring your kid
It'll
in
be
their
fun.
jersey. Like, it'll be great.
But do you have like a website or like a donate button or anything like that where, you know,
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Make it
We
different.
should.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Donate button.
Still in its early years.
Yeah.
yeah,
Still
well,
in its early
that's,
years.
yeah.
that's okay. Just wondering, you know, if for people that aren't able to go, really just, you know, go on, buy tickets. Even if you can't make it, it's supporting.
Yeah, we take e-transfers. That's how we've been getting most of our payments. And we should make that donate button.
Mhm.
But right now, the ticket sales are on Eventbrite. So you can find us there. There's some flyers floating around town.
Yeah,
you can QR code that.
Your
And then-
Instagram again
And our
was-
Instagram is Count Her In YQG.
YQG. Yeah, and then all the links are available through there.
They are there, yeah.
And some status updates about what's happening with the organization.
Yeah,
on its own.
yeah,
So,
you got it.
yeah. So once this event kind of concludes, what's the next goals for the group? Like, I understand that you're going to contact all of the organizations and try and help facilitate what you've been able to, but from here, given success, what's the next big step in that goal towards the million?
Towards me.
Towards
It's
the million.
growing our followers. So if everyone's listening right now, pull out your phone and give us a follow so that we can achieve those goals and spread the awareness and education. Honestly, the best way I can depict it is, since rolling this out, the number of people that have reached out and the networking that has happened just in this short time frame of getting our name out there has been immense. And so, like, for example, SC United reached out and they want a girls team and they need help recruiting. They want a female coach. They have varsity level coaches there, and that's a travel league. And so there's like a huge advocation component of it and promotional component of this topic. And so I have a meeting with them next week to figure out how we can partner and make this work. Right now, they have 150 kids enrolled in their travel soccer league. 7 of them are girls.
Oh, geez. Yeah, got to get
Right
those
there.
numbers up.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, gotta
That's like
encourage
jarring for me.
Yeah.
So
And you've got community members, again, Stacey and Abby being, professionals in the community too, right? The word of mouth spreads. How many kids come through the office and, get glasses? I was 5 when I got glasses. My daughter's got glasses as well. So
Yeah, like at least 5 to 10 a day.
right. So you can kind of help foster that too as well, right?
Mhm.
And organically spread it.
Yeah.
For sure.
now
That's
many
honestly
kids buy
like-
houses.
So
Yeah.
many. Yeah, they're really keen, actually.
yeah.
Actually, kids
Kids service families. Right?
kids looking at houses are the best because they pick out things that adults don't. So don't ever
Underestimate
don't
that, right?
underestimate the kids.
Like cracking the
Yeah, exactly.
It's supposed to be there. It smells like moldy cheese. So, but yeah, and that's
Well,
also helpful too.
What is also helpful is like being on podcasts like this. So it's having these avenues to you guys are funny, but for real, like we set goals of each of us, like her and I each being on 4 podcasts this year because we want to spread the awareness.
Smartless.
We want to there you go. So
Well, hey, listen, if I could be on SmartList too, I would be, but I don't think
What is
We are
Smartlist?
I'll give you
Jason
I'll give you a plug when I get there.
Will-
Okay.
Will Arnett Bateman.
Yeah.
and-
Jason Bateman.
Oh.
It's a good
Oh.
one.
It's
It's
the
a good
listeners.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
fame, and then
That's our
the
next
good looks
10-year
and
goal.
all that.
Yeah.
No, we're just less smart.
But
Oh.
oh, you
No,
know,
don't
right?
do it. No.
Gary doesn't
No.
have the sound effects.
Good.
for it.
No,
even in I've noticed
No, that's
in television and entertainment. Like, have you heard of the TV show Welcome to Wrexham? Like, Ryan Reynolds bought a soccer team in Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the first couple of seasons focused heavily on the men's team. And midway through the second season, they introduced the fact that there's a whole women's team and a whole women's league that play for this professional sports club, and focused a lot of the attention on that. Mind you, some of the subject matter on that show is not exactly for children, but I became aware as an adult, like, hey, that's a thing. So the more and more you talk about it, it's like, hey, watch the show. Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's ways that you can kind of help and counter in the areas, helping to try and create that initiative towards, fostering that kind of development within girls. So I think it's great.
It takes a village, right? And it's just, it's forcing me outside my comfort zone to even just
come on this
do
podcast.
Something like that
come
too.
On this podcast.
Yeah.
Risky.
No, but it's not. We all have full-time jobs, right? And it's like to put yourself out there and talk about a controversial subject too, and or something political is like it's putting yourself out there. But it's allowed me to realize like I can do these things too, and
but you don't grow until you push out of those boundaries.
And I've met so many great people just by using my voice, and the number of people that want to be a part of it, and even like equipment needs, and if there's like barriers to access, like we want to break them down. So whatever that looks like, we want to be a part of it.
That's great. I think the again, with the local climate and the visibility of what you're doing, being out there, right? I've seen it around town. It's not something that is just being cast aside as, oh, that's a group that's just trying to raise some money or just occupy some time. I think really that the message is being understood, and I think that among the conversations, and again, seeing it around town, you're gaining traction. You're gaining a lot of visibility, and moms and dads and kids.
They're talking.
Talking about it, right?
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Right.
To hear that.
Yeah.
It's again, I have daughters, so I'm a little bit, biased because I'm just
a lot of people do.
I'm just one of the girls, right? I'm the only guy in the whole household. My dog's even a girl, right? Like I got
girl dad.
And a girl dad. Well, I'm just a girl. Like that's the thing.
It's morphed.
Yeah, like why not? You can't beat them, join them, kind of thing. But it does spur the conversation, and it isn't something that isn't being shied away for, like, oh, the girls can't do it, blah blah blah. Or like, then it's not being just cast aside, and I think that's great. So I'm glad to hear that you've been contacted and people are starting to engage, because then those next steps will take you so much further, and exponentially that growth will be there. Maybe it's being able to get one of the female celebrity like sports players, like I don't know, Caitlin Clark, kind of busy in these days.
She
right?
might be busy. Her appearance fee might be a little
right.
budget.
You don't know.
That could be our 10-year goal.
Yeah,
right.
But she's the one that comes to mind because of just how much of visibility it's gotten, and yes, she is better than a whole ton of men in the sport, and that shouldn't be shied away from. It should be celebrated.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think it's fantastic. Can't wait for the event. And obviously you're gonna keep building and growing, and whatever the next few steps are, absolutely come back on the show. We'll talk about it for sure.
An update.
So thank you very much, ladies. Steve, you got any more? No? Sorry, you put your hand up. I thought you were like,
no, I did.
yeah, screech.
Just thinking.
Yeah.
No, I'm processing a lot here. I'm trying to, honestly, I was trying to figure out if there was a way to make a connection between their event and the athletic awards, like even just like some sort of crazy video tie-in. I don't know. I don't know that there is, but
maybe somebody who's presenting on stage can
could do a
mention
live. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can. Yeah, I can plug it somehow, some way.
We can get a live
I will be
feed.
making a speech, so
Yeah,
I'll see what I can do.
That's
there you go.
amazing.
That'd be awesome.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we can talk, and I don't know. We'll figure something
And
out.
just
Yeah.
bring
Our
everybody
impact.
across the road
Yeah.
after.
It's at the Portuguese Club in Harrow.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
it's a long
Isn't
walk,
it?
but
It's a long-
Yeah.
Make sure you
you can
tie
do
those-
it. They're
tie those
athletes.
shoes.
Ambitious. Yeah. That's right.
Get a
But-
bus donated.
Another thing is, if anyone here or anyone listening has any ideas or connections that could help us grow, like when you ask like what's our goal and we say like 1 million people in 10 years, if you know someone that might be able to help us get that, like that would be amazing. So
Connections are appreciated.
it's all about
You need to
who
do
know.
your own podcast.
Yeah.
Ah.
Which isn't,
No, really.
Sorry,
This
fellas.
is local. This has local appeal. But what you guys can do, it could be much wider.
Cool. Yeah.
It could be
Thank
much
you.
wider.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have a job now.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. You're done.
Hey, at least
Yeah.
he said we
No,
have
you
a
know
few.
it.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going at. I was like,
He's got a new
like
gig
this?
on Thursday night.
Next time we'll interview you guys.
It's
You
possible.
just left there at the word banana.
It's been a fun 3 years.
I'll charge you exactly what I charge them.
Okay. Oh,
Wow, I love it.
Millions of dollars.
Gary's
well
making
done.
pay.
Matt.
Oy vey. So again, the event Thursday, June 13th, 6 to 9. Thank
Yeah.
you. Pelee Island Winery Pavilion.
Yeah.
Go to Eventbrite or go to your social media, counter in YQG on Instagram, and then find the link for the Eventbrite ticket sales. Buy them quick. The tickets selling well.
They're selling really well.
I would
Yeah.
imagine that
Yeah.
this probably
Yeah.
is going to be a very well attended event. So, again, thank you very much for coming on the show. I'm very glad that we get to have this conversation to get the word out and continue with doing what you're doing. So,
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us.
and everybody who's listening this far in, remember, like, subscribe, do all those other things so that we are still relevant in town. That's greatly appreciated. So, yeah,
Have you ever?
I don't think so, but listen, if we think
We'll keep trying.
gosh darn it.
Hey,
Never
That's
give
our
up.
10-year
That
goal.
self-confidence,
Relevancy.
Yeah, how long have we done?
10 subscribers.
You too can do hard things.
Yeah.
We set some pretty lofty goals over there. Well, thank you again for joining us. And again, everyone, please like and subscribe. It does help visibility. And to the ladies' points, every time you do interact with a social media account, it does trigger the algorithm to create more awareness.
Right.
So
Mhm.
while we were having conversations about
Follow
this,
Steve.
we gained a lot of followers on other topics as well. And that's why we have some of the listeners and viewers that are watching now. So I'm very glad that we got to have this now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just spread the word. So
Can I say one more thing?
100%.
We have other people that are not here tonight on our crew, and I just want to say
Yeah.
they're working very hard to make this event a huge success. It's Cassidy, Sydney, and Chloe, and we couldn't do it without them. So I just want to give them a shout out.
Yes, we
Thanks,
love
ladies.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, watching this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. We'll see you next time.